morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Product of the Month presentation. We're going to be looking at SyteLine 9. My name is Joe Mansueto. I'm with Godlan. If you are wanting to know what's new with SyteLine 9, you're definitely in the right place. SyteLine 9 offers significant feature enhancements. We're going to be hearing from a SyteLine product expert today who's going to take us through a high-level aerial view. His name is Ed Larson. Ed is a senior business solutions consultant. Ed's got 28 years of manufacturing experience. Those 28 years include 10 years as an IT manager in the manufacturing industry, where he served as an ERP implementation project manager for 5 divisions, as well as 18 years now with Infor, and he's served as an Infor pre-sales consultant. So just before I turn it over to Ed, what I'd like to ask is that if you've got questions along the way, please go ahead and type those into your chat over on the right and send those. And what we'll do is we're going to read those off and have Ed address those at the conclusion of this presentation. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Ed Larson.
All right. Well, thank you, Joe, and good morning, everyone, and thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us here. As Joe said, we're going to go through SyteLine 9 and go through the enhancements. There's been a number of enhancements. We're not going to be able to go in and show you every single one, but we're going to go through and let you know what were the enhancements, and then a number of those we'll go in and talk about them in more detail. I think the first to start out with, Infor has gone through all of their applications and gone through and updated the user interface. So you may have heard Infor talk about beautifying ERP. And basically what we've done is we've gone out there and our entire interface, we've gone out there and we've uplifted it more into a modern interface. So this is our customer service homepage. You can go out here, you can see the graphing is a little bit different, more modern graphing. If I come out here, look at critical numbers, our critical numbers, of course, the different gauges and everything that we have all been more updated to modern look and feel out there. In addition to that, you know, if you drill down and you go into our report writer, which is our data view report writer, it is much easier on the eyes to actually go out there and read and view these type of reports. In addition to the home page, of course, all of our screens or all of our forms within the application have been uplifted as well. So any application that you go into with Infor will have the same look and feel, the same modern look and feel within there. You also can see on some of the screens, you're going to notice on the left-hand side when we talk about the grid mode, we've, instead of just having the item number and different columns, what we've done is we've given you more of a screen-type look and feel on the grid mode on the left-hand side. So we go out here, we'll show you some key information about that item, quantity on hand, any type of pictures, if you have pictures loaded for your items. We've done the same with like the customer service master, where we've gone out there and we've included additional information over on the left-hand side. So some of our key screens, such as the item master, customer master, vendor master, etc., we've gone out and uplifted the grid mode. Now, if I hold down my control key and hit my 2 key, I go right into the grid mode as it was before, and everything then is stretched out. But the key is, what's nice about this is you can go out here and you can tailor the system to see key information over on the left-hand side without having to tab through the different tabs within the screen or going into the grid mode and moving columns around. Again, we've uplifted a lot of the charts, the charting that exists on a lot of the screens as well. And I think you'll just see that as we go through the entire application, the new look and feel within the system. In addition to that, what we've also done is we've also gone out there, as you know, we've always had our multi-site environment where you can have multiple sites run in the application. These multiple sites, of course, can talk to one another. We do have global planning, global order entry, you know, centralized payables, centralized receivables, etc. So we have full multi-site capabilities. In the past, it has always required that you have a separate database within the system for each site that you create within the application. What we've done is we've gone out there from a technology perspective, and we've actually given you the option now to either run in a multi-site environment with each site in a separate database, or now we allow you to go out there and run in a multi-site environment within a single database. Okay, so you can have one database running multiple sites. What we've done out there from a technology perspective, if we have gone out there, we have made copies of all of our tables. So all of our tables have been renamed with an _-MST for master. What we've added to each one of our tables out there is a new column called site reference. And so within the system, we go out there and extract data by that site reference. The users do not know any difference. They don't have to do anything different. But from a technology perspective, we allow you to go out there and run the application in that particular manner. Let's go in and let's talk about some of the different functionality within the system. Now, I'm going to use these forms within SyteLine that I have put together. Although it does say SyteLine 7 to SyteLine 9, I like kind of showing all the changes that we've made from version 7 to version 9. We have a lot of customers that are still running version 6 that are looking to go to SyteLine 9. We have a lot of customers still running 7 or 8, etc., looking to go to SyteLine 9. We are going to only focus on the SyteLine 9 enhancements within this presentation, but I like listing some of the other ones because as you can all see the screen, you can all read the screen, you can see some of the other enhancements that we have done within some of the different functional areas. In addition to that, not every enhancement or not every release that we go through touches every single functional area. Some releases we'll focus on in inventory control, like SyteLine 803 was heavy on inventory control, and SyteLine 7 was heavy in other places, etc. So I like to kind of show how we try to balance our enhancements out over the different releases that we come out with. So let's go ahead and start with engineering. As you can see in blue, I've highlighted the SyteLine 9 enhancements, and those are the ones that we will be talking about. And then as well as you can see some of the other enhancements that we've made in prior releases. What we've done in SyteLine 9 is we have gone out there on the item master and given you an extended description. The extended description allows me to go out there and underneath the overview tab now within the system, I can go out there and put unlimited amount of text that I want about this particular item. This text not only will show up on the portals, but this text will also, you have the option of showing this text on certain documents that you actually send out to the customers or the vendors themselves. So this is an extended description. You still, of course, have the note capabilities within the system, but this just gives you the ability to put that extended description in without actually going and putting in subject level notes. We've also come out with item compliancy. All right, item compliancy allows me to go out there at the item master level, and it allows me to set up within the system compliancy. And so I can go out there and I can set up my different compliancy programs. These are user-defined within the system. And if I go out and do a right-click drill down within here, in here is where I can see all my different compliancy programs. I just have ROHS defined in here. But then I have all my items within the item master listed. And you will see that the system will check those items that are in ROHS compliancy. All right. Now, in order for an end item to be compliant, all materials underneath that must also be compliant. So we do have a compliancy utility that will allow you to go out there, run this utility, and it runs through all your bill structures, runs through all levels within that bill structure, and basically will verify the compliancy of all components into the finished good. So we do have full compliancy, which is user-defined compliancies now within the system. In addition to that, we've also come out with material use-up logic within the system. And material use-up logic allows me to go out there again and set up within the system for a particular item. I can go out there and basically put in an estimated break date And the system will come in and tell me when I'm going to use up that material. So if I go into my material use up report, this is where I could go in and say, put in a date and say, as of June 1st, how much inventory will I have left over at June 1st? If I leave this blank, the system will automatically tell me what date I will be using up my inventory, and then from there I can adjust my bill of materials to start using new materials at that point in time. So we do have use up logic within the system as well now. We've also given you the ability to go out there and do a multi-site bill of material copy. The multi-site bill of material copy allows me to go out there and it allows me to copy my bill of material from one site to another. It will go out there, it will copy the bill of material, and it will copy the routing because, as you all know, SyteLine does have a bill of it is a bill of manufacturing. The only caveat to that is you must go out there and you must have the same work centers and resources defined across all of your sites. Because when we do a copy, it is going to copy the work center and the resources from the routing over. All right. If the resources or the work centers do not exist, of course, then it will give you an error and will not do the copy. We've also come out with project change order tracking, and in project order change order tracking, this allows me to go within the system and basically track changes that we've made to purchase orders. This functions very similarly to the purchase order change functionality, where I can track the changes, I can track my notes and document all those changes and approve those changes, etc. So we do have full project management change order tracking. In addition to that, we've also enhanced the project copy utility, where the copy utility will go out there and it'll allow me to define, do I want to copy tasks? Do I want to copy the resources, the milestones, revenue and invoice milestones? So now you have an option of what do you actually want to copy when you actually copy projects over. So those were some of the enhancements we made to the engineering side of things. Let's go ahead and talk about customer service a little bit. From a customer service perspective, we have gone out there and we've created new hold codes at the customer level, where this allows me to go out there and set up a credit hold at the order level. So what I'm saying here, for a particular customer, I can go in and not only set up my credit limit amounts, but I also can go within the system and set up what are my hold codes, or I'm sorry, what is my limit for a particular order. So if I come out here and we go in and go into my credit tab, you will now see that you have an order credit limit. And if my order exceeds this particular dollar limit, that order will be put on hold. And in order to, of course, ship it, you must take that order off of hold within the system. In addition to that, we've gone out there, and this was highly suggested or recommended for us to go out there and put our Capable to Promise button at the estimate job level. As you all know, with our ATS, our planning system, we allow you to do a CTP or an ATP either at the customer order header, the customer line level, the job level, the estimate level, the estimate line level. But we never really had a CTP or an ATP capability at the estimate job level. That has been added now in version 9 as well. In version 9, we really did a lot of focus on promotions, rebates, and surcharges within the customer service area. So we now have where you can go out there and you can set up promotions within the system. Promotions allow me to go out there and define and say, this promotion is for this campaign. This promotion is for this salesperson. This promotion is for this corporate customer or this ship to. This promotion is for this customer type. It's for this end user type. It is for this warehouse. This promotion is for this product code, or this promotion is for just this item or any combination within there. So you can go out there and you can define your own promotions and basically set it up to any levels that you want within the system, as you see on the screen here. I can go out there and I can set up my promotion discounts. So what is the promotion? Is it a % discount, or is it a flat dollar amount discount, or is it simply a new fixed price out there? We're not going to take the existing price and give it a discount. We're just going to give it a new fixed price for this particular promotion. You also can go out there and say, in order to get this promotion, minimum must be this net price, or minimum quantity order must be this. I can do buy one, get one free, buy two, get three free, whatever you want here. So you can go out there and put in what are your quantity multiples in order to get a free one. What's your max discount amount that you're going to allow, and as well as your max promotion quantity to discount. So as you can see, from a promotion perspective, we do allow you to go out there and set up various levels of promotions within the system. In addition to that, we also allow you to go out there and set up rebates within the system. And rebates allow me to go out there, and it allows me, again, to set up rebates either at the campaign level, the salesperson level, corporate customer level, customer type, etc. And this is where I could go out there and set up what is my rebate. Is it a rate? Is it a flat dollar amount? What is a redemption rate? Okay, so what we're saying here is what percentage of the rebates do we actually get claims for? As well as how many numbers of periods is the rebate valid for? And what deferred revenue account are we going to hit for this particular rebate? So we will go out there, we will do accruals of your rebates within the system, but again, you can set up different levels of rebates within the system. In addition to promotions and rebates, we've also created surcharges out there. Surcharges allow me to go within the system, and it allows me to set up markups or markdowns, of course, of items based on commodity values. So this is where I can go out there and set up for a particular item. Set up for a particular item on the sales tab. I can go out there and specify whether this is this item is a surcharge item or not within the system. So let me go in here and go over to the sales tab. So I can say this item includes item contents. If I say include item contents, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here and I'm going to filter for my items that have an include item content on it. And when I do that, then I can come in here and drill down to the item contents form to see the information about this item. So if I drill down, I can come out here and I can see the contents for this item is made up of copper, or any other contents that you define within the system. That is, of course, all user defined by you within the system. What is your unit of measure? What's the item? And what content factor exists of copper in this particular item, and what is the base price? Okay. I then can set up my content pricing here, and so this is where I can set up within the system based on the exchange that we set up within the system. This is where I could go out there and I can say, based on this exchange, based on this currency for copper, okay, here's our current exchange price as of this particular date, etc. Then I can go out here and I can set up customer as well as vendor surcharge rules within the system. And of course, this is where I can go in for a particular customer and specify what exchange that I'm going to look at for this. Is it 1 day before or the order date? And basically set up what is my exchange rate, what date, what basically exchange am I going to look at based on the dating within the system. So you can go out there, set up your surcharges, and of course then go out there and define rules on these surcharges down to a customer level as well as down to a vendor level. We've also gone out there and put in our shipment method. Our shipment method allows you to go out there now and define different shipment methods and define the rates for those methods, such as UPS, Federal Express. So now when orders are taken over the portal, or orders are taken, more importantly, from credit card perspective, you can choose a shipment for that order, and at the time the order is put in, the system will go out and calculate what is the shipment charge based on, or the freight charges based on the shipment method that was chosen out there. In addition to that, we also allow you to go out there and do multi-sourcing within the system. I put this in customer service, but this has a lot to do with planning as well. But this allows me to go out there within the system and do multiple sourcing. So I could go out there and say for this particular customer order, and if I drop down to the lines, I could say for this FA 10,000 that I'm looking to ship to this particular customer, or FA 20,000, I'm sorry, where can I get it from the fastest? Based on all my different sites, based on all my different warehouses that I have within the system, where can I get this, how can I get this to the customer the fastest? From what warehouse or from what site? Well, this is where I could go out here and say maybe they want a quantity of 5, and when I do that, I can hit this multi-source icon here. And when I hit the multi-source icon, the system will come up and it will display by site, by warehouse, what is available and what is the distance from that particular plant to my particular customer site. If I come over here and get projected date, this will go out and this will do a CTP or an ATP, okay, at each one of those warehouses, each one of those sites, and the system will come back and give me what is the projected date that I can deliver this product to this customer based on the different sites or warehouses within the system. And simply by going out here and selecting a particular site, I can say select, and of course we graph it for you. We show you from a map point perspective the distance and everything. But when I go out here and say select, the system will then place this order to be shipped from site demo from warehouse distribution. Okay? So again, this is our multi-site sourcing within the system. I show this in the customer service area, but of course the bulk of that is done through our planning system, our advanced planning system. So those are some of the enhancements that we have made in version 9 in sales and customer service area. If we move on to planning, again, as I said, planning, we did a lot with the multi-site sourcing. I didn't list that here as I listed in the previous section. But some of the other things that we've done is we've gone out there and we've done our consolidated day supply. We've always gone out there. We've always had the day supply parameters from a planning perspective. But one of the things that we really never showed cleanly within the system was a way to go out there and say, for this particular replenishment plan, what were the orders that were consolidated together for this particular replenishment value? Okay. Well, now what you have is you have a form where you can go out there and you can see what orders were actually consolidated based on your day supply parameter. In addition to that, we also have uplifted our what-if planning. In version 8, we did move our what-if planning from our web environment into the business system. In version 9, we've actually done some other uplifts, and basically what we've done out there is we've created a home page, okay? So now I can go out there and I can view, for those of you that are used to the analyzer that we used to have out there, I can go out there and I can see my exceptions. As we showed before, I can go out there and see what are my late orders, what are my manufacturing item shortages, what are my purchase item shortages, what are my resource group bottlenecks, as well as what are my overall item bottlenecks. From here, of course, on any of these, I can go in, I can drill down, so I can actually go out here and I can actually see, based on a starting date or an ending date, I can come out here and I can see all my orders that are due to be late. And from here, I can go then into a what-if scenario. Or if I wanted to, I could drill down and say, show me my manufacturing orders that are going to be late. And so I could come down, or my manufacturing items, I'm sorry, that are causing bottlenecks within the system. So I could come out here and I can see for a particular item, what are the bottlenecks that that is causing. So if I come out here and say for an SA 5910, show me all demands that are caused, that are being late, I can see that I have two jobs. I have job 60 and job 65 that are late because of this SA 5910. In addition to that, we also give you the ability, of course, to go out there and see your resource group bottlenecks. And this is where I can go out there for a particular resource group or for all resource groups, however you want to view this information. But I can view all my resources. If I wanted to, I can double-click and drill down and do a descending order, and I could see my resources that that have the most delays or cause the most bottlenecks within the system. So if I look at my AS500, it is causing 22 late orders out there, late demands, I should say. And over on the right-hand side, then I can actually see what are those demands, jobs, customer orders, transfer orders, MPS orders, projects, whatever it may be, that are late because of this particular resource capacity constraint out there. So we've gone out there and we've done some enhancements to the what-if scenarios for better visibility into some of your issues that you may be having out there. So again, so that was some of the planning that we did, but as you can see in the prior releases, especially in version 7, we've done a lot of enhancements within our planning as well as 8. If we move on now to manufacturing, within manufacturing is where I could go out here and in version 6, we introduced resource sequencing rules. When we went to version 7, we did take that away because we went to more of a setup matrix and writing rules to minimize setup. We did have a request, a large number of requests to bring that resource sequencing rules back into play. So we did bring that back into the system, and this is where I could go into the system and I can specify for any type of resource that I have out there. So let's go ahead and pick one. We'll just pick the first one here. Oops. I can pick my AS500, and from here I can say when I run jobs through this resource, here is the way I want them prioritized. And all I'm saying here is based on due date. But I could come out here and I can specify any field to sort the jobs in this resource based on my customer order line form or table, my item master, my job master, or my routing. And if I pick any of these tables to sort on, I can come out here and I can then see the different fields that I can actually sort on. So this allows me to go out there and allows me to set up in the system from a scheduling perspective to actually sort my jobs in whatever order that I want to help reduce my setup out there. In addition to that, from a manufacturing perspective, we've also gone out there and we've allowed you to go out there and do job operation freezing now. In prior releases in our Gantt chart, of course, we have allowed you to go out there and we've allowed you to drag jobs around within the Gantt chart. So here's my Gantt chart. I can see by resource what are the jobs that I have running out there, okay? And what I can do, of course, is I can take and I can drag these jobs around and move them to any other resource within that I have defined within the system. The problem is when I've done that dragging around, it's done that, it's moved that job for me. But whenever I've gone back in to reschedule my system, it would reschedule it back to the original spot. So what we've done is we've allowed you now to come out here and freeze that job or freeze that operation. So when I run scheduling, I tell scheduling, do not move this job or do not move this operation. It's frozen here, and schedule around that. So we do allow you to go out there and freeze your movement within the Gantt chart now. All right. Let's talk about procurement from a standpoint of purchasing. We've gone out there on the vendor side of things, and we've allowed you to go out there on the vendor master and basically specify what vendors are minority owned, and so you can track that within the system now. We've also gone out there and we've brought over our customer interaction, the functionality where we speak, where basically we integrate with Microsoft Outlook. We've actually gone out there and brought that into the vendor's interactions now. So from a vendor perspective, this is where I can go out there and I can communicate with my vendors either verbally or over the phone, or I can communicate by email. I can import emails into here, or I can actually generate emails right from the vendor interaction form and send that right from here, and that will send those emails out there. So for those of you that are used to the customer interaction form, we basically brought the same functionality now into the vendor interaction. In addition to that, we've also gone out there and we've allowed you to define your splitting. So now I can specify vendor splits within the system. Vendor splits allow me to go out there based on the different rules that I set up. And so I've created a rule for my CG 10,000 for this item. And I can say, based on effectivity dating, when I go out there and place a purchase order, I want you to split that quantity that I'm purchasing based on this percentage across these vendors. And of course, you can have more than two. We just have two listed here. But I can define that by item, where I can go out there and define my splits by item across my different vendors now. And the system will, of course, go out there and create those purchase orders for you. We talked about surcharges at the customer master level. We have, of course, as I mentioned before, defined surcharges as well for the vendors, where you can define vendor surcharge rules out there as well. We've also enhanced our integration between purchasing and our fixed assets. And this is where I now can go out there from a procurement standpoint, and I can set up, at the time I actually put in a purchase order, I can specify at that line level what is the asset that I'm going to basically define that this item to. So if I'm purchasing a new asset, I can specify the asset number down here below when I actually do that purchase, and what that will do, of course, that will create the asset within the system. Now, I also can go in fixed assets and manually enter the asset, and then, of course, source that from a purchase order. So it's a two-way street that we've created there for you. So that was a little bit about some of the purchasing enhancements that we made. From an inventory control perspective, as you can see in SyteLine 803, we basically did a very big focus on inventory. So for this SyteLine 9 release, the only thing that we really did from an inventory control perspective is the transfer orders. We now allow you to go out there and do a ship and receive multiple lines on a transfer order. With our customer shipments as well as our purchase order receipts, you can go out there and you can receive for a purchase order multiple lines, or for a customer order you can ship multiple lines on that order. For whatever reason, our transfer orders were always ship one line at a time. What we've done is we've brought in the transfer order ship as well as a transfer order receive, where you can go out there and I can ship multiple lines on the transfer order all at once, or of course if I do the transfer order receipt, I'll be able to receive multiple transfer order lines at once. Okay? Moving into costing, we've done a lot of focus with our cost analysis. So what we've done is we've gone out there and we've allowed you to do some what-if costing within the system. We've created a workbench for this. There's a lot of different features that you can do within this workbench. But there's things where I can take my costs, I can copy it into what we call an alternative and freeze that alternative. So I can say this was my cost for 2010, here's my frozen cost for 2011, here's my frozen cost for 2012, etc. So now I could go out there and I can freeze my costs and I can track the history either by year or down to period or whenever you actually updated your standard costs within the system. In addition to that, what we allow you to do is we allow you to go out there and we allow you to take and copy from a production into an alternative, or i.e. a what-if alternative, to say, I copy everything or copy only certain items, and you have, on the copy costing option, you have a number of options as far as how you want to bring your costs over. I can do it by ABC code, manufactured item, cost methods, based on a product code range, based on an item range. I can go out there and say, copy my current if I wanted to, or my standard, but I can say, copy my current into an alternative, okay? And when I copy that current bill of material or current cost or standard cost into an alternative, it will then populate on this workbench all the items that I have selected. It will highlight them here within the system. From there, then I can go in and I can massage my material fixed overhead rates, fixed variable overhead rates, or my purchase overhead rates from a product code perspective. I can go out here. I can update my fixed and variable labor rates at the department level if I want to update those. I can go out here at the work center level for each work center, update my setup rate, my run rate, my machine fixed and variable overheads, okay? In addition to that, I also then can go out there for the materials and update my component material costs, freight, duty, brokerage fees, etc. So now what I can do is I can take my production system, copy it into an alternative, adjust my costs however I want to adjust my costs, and then I can come in and do a comparison. And I can see for a particular item, I can see what is that cost, and I then can compare that either to my standard costs or my current costs out there. So it will then go out there and do that comparison for me, and it will then show me by operation, by materials, my costing information out here as well. So once you get done with all this, I then can go out there and I then can roll up these costs and roll them into my standard costs when everything is said and done and approved. I then can roll it up and update my standard costs right from this workbench. So as you can tell, this was a very big enhancement that we did from a costing perspective within the system. When we talk about accounts payable, we have not done anything within accounts payable for SyteLine 9. We did do a number of enhancements in accounts payable in version 8 as well as version 803. But this go around, what we did was we did focus some enhancements on accounts receivable, where in the prior releases we didn't have too much of a focus there. But again, we can put orders on credit hold based on order limits, as we discussed before in the customer service side. We also can go out there and set up excise taxes within the system. So this is usually used in a medical device environment where there's excise taxes. This is where I can define an item that it is to be charged an excise tax, and then also specify what is the percentage that I'm going to charge. So if I come over here into my sales tab for my excise taxes, this is where I can say this item is subject to excise tax and what is that percentage and what is the wholesale price. And I can go out there and either calculate this excise tax based on the wholesale price, or if the wholesale price is 0, the system will calculate it based on the selling price that we have set up for that particular order within the system. In addition to that, we've also gone out there and we've done the shipment invoice approval. This was started in version 8, and in version 9 we've enhanced it even more. What this allows you to do is, of course, this allows you to go out there, make a shipment within the system, but put that shipment on invoice hold. Some environments cannot send that invoice to the customer until the customer approves the receipt of that shipment and it goes through their quality or whatever. Well, now what you can do is in version 8, we allowed you to put that on hold, In version 9, what we allow you to do with that is we allow you to go out there and hit a different set of accounts now, because what we need to do is hold that shipment from a sales and cost of goods sold posting perspective. We need to hold those in separate accounts until we can actually go out there and invoice. So when we go out there and take a look at this, when we take a look at your, well, I didn't want to go there. Basically, where I wanted to go was my product codes, or my distribution accounts. So if I go to my distribution accounts now, you will see a different set of accounts out there that you can set up what we call our inventory and process. Our inventory and process accounts, you can set up your sales in process as well as cost of goods sold in process. So when you actually do a shipment within the system, we will, and that shipment is on hold, we will hit these accounts, the in-process accounts. Once you actually go in and invoice, then we'll reverse those accounts out and hit the actual sales or cost of goods sold accounts out there. In addition to that, we've also gone out there and we've created what we call our multi-site invoice builder. So this is where I can go out within the system now and sit in one site and create an invoice, do basically centralized invoice, where I can create an invoice for a customer order, for a customer across all my sites. So it will go out there, look at all the customer orders across all my sites, and allow me to go out there and do some centralized invoicing within the system now. So as you can see, I have my demo site, on my demo 2 site, I have my customer orders, and from here now I can go out and generate my orders across sites. We've also gone out there and we've enhanced, as we did on the accounts payable side last release, with the electronic funds transfers, but we now also have electronic funds payment capabilities within the system. So we support the NACHA CDD formats out there. It is basically where you go in, you set up the file formats that you need to send that, or that you will receive those in, and the system will go out there and receive those payments for you. And then winding down here, if we go in and end up with our general ledger, we've made a number of enhancements there as well. One is what we call our dimensional analysis. You're going to see us roll this dimensional analysis out more throughout the entire system as we come out with new releases within the system. But what this allows you to do, this allows you to go out there and create user-defined detailed views of information. And I, of course, only have one here, but I can have many different views. Think of this as doing a right-click and doing a right-click drill down into details. But what this gives you the ability to do is to drill down into user-defined details of however you want to analyze that information. So I could come out here for account 40,000, which is my sales account, and I have a customer dimension out here that I've defined, okay? If I go into details, this will go out there and it will show me for this account, okay? And it will show me by period, okay, by a year, by period, and it will show me by customer all the postings that were made to this particular GL account. So all the GL postings that were made. And of course, I can move these accounts around. You can select what fields of information you really want to display on this. But I can go out there and set up what we call these dimensional analysis within the system and create my own drill down views within the system. If I come out here and I go into my inventory accounts, so if I go into account 12700 here, whoops, this is where I could go in and for an inventory account, instead of seeing a customer dimension from a sales, I want to see more of an item dimension view based on inventory transactions within the system. And again, I could go out there and view by item any of this information. And again, the key is you will define in the system, it is user defined within the system, what are my different dimensions and what fields of information do I want to show on those different dimensions. We've started this in our accounts, in our accounting area, in the general ledger area, but you will see us rolling this out more throughout the entire application in all the different functional areas as well. In addition to that, we've also gone out there and we've enhanced our recurring journal entries. Well, I'm sorry, let's talk about item product code changes. Basically, the item product code change allows me to go out there. When I go out there and I change a particular product code for a particular item, it will go out there and update all of my item stockroom accounts for that particular new product code that's assigned to that item. In the past, we would not change those accounts. When you now change a product code, it explodes that through the entire system. We've also had recurring journal entries out there. Recurring journal entries, we have put basically put the ability flag out there that once you post a recurring journal entry into a period, and if you try to post that again, we're going to tell you that that's already been posted in this period. Are you sure you want to post it again? Because there may be times where you may have weekly reoccurring journal entries, and that's fine. But we've kind of put a warning message or a stopgap message out there for you now. On the financial side, we've come out with our multi-set financial set of books within the system. And our multi-set financial set of books basically allows you to keep a whole different set of financial books within the system. And so you can go out there and you can create as many different financial books that you want within the system. I have just one that I've created out there. And if I come out here, I then can go out there, create the book, and then I can do mapping. And this is where I can specify what GL accounts within my standard set of books that I have, what GL accounts does it map to within this new set of books that I have. So I, of course, can take multiple accounts and map them to a single count within this alternative set of books that we create out there. And from here, as transactions are made then into the system, those journal entries, of course, will also be made into your multiple set of books, so you can go out there and you can actually see you know, all your postings out there immediately as they're done within the system. I don't have any out there. Okay? So we have gone out there and created the multi-set financial set of books as well within the system. And then last but not least, we've also gone out there and on the unit codes, we've gone out there and we've given you the ability on all the different, or on various reports, most of the reports I should say, we've gone out there and not only given you the ability to run that report by a range of accounts, but we've also gone out there and given you that ability to run those reports based on a range of unit codes as well within the system. So those are some of the enhancements that we've made, some of the big enhancements. You know, there's always little nuggets that we do that, you know, are just a number of little nuggets that we put into the system. But from a standpoint when we talk about the major enhancements, these are some of the enhancements that we have done for version 7. Or, I'm sorry, version 9. From there, I'm going to kind of turn it back to you, Joe.